So I just finished playing Tetris 99 for the Nintendo Switch, and I'm like... Hello there guys, Billybo10K here, bringing you episode 5 of So I Just Finished, where my cat is... He was here, and yes, this is episode 5 of So I Just Finished, the series where I finish a game, create a review, and then create a guide for you guys at home. Oh, fucking Christ. Why am I laughing? Hello there guys, Billybo10K here, bringing you episode 5 of So I Just Finished, the series where I finish, review, and then create a guide for a game, be it new, old, good, or tragically awful. So if you're looking for an honest review, plus a handy-dandy guide to help you get started with a given game, I'm your guy. Make sure to subscribe for future content. Before we get into today's video though, I just want to remind you guys that I do have 4 videos in this series already that I think are really worth checking out. We've done videos on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Hyper Light Drifter, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and Resident Evil 2 2019, so if any of those titles pique your fancy, click the card in the top right corner and take a look at the playlist link for those videos. It'd be really cool if you could check them out. And if possible, can we try and hit 100 likes on this video? I know that is a really crazy thing to ask, and I really hope we can do it. I really believe in you guys, the community, and it would be amazing if we could reach that milestone. So let's see if we can try and make it to 100 likes. Now, today's episode is going to be a little bit shorter, a little bit less joke-fueled, and just a little bit different overall, because we're dealing with a very different style of game today. We're tackling a game that has no single player, no story, no instructions, and
no mercy for the weak.
Today we'll be taking a look at the Nintendo Switch Online exclusive Tetris 99 to see whether this modern take on this classic video game is worth your time. So, without further ado, let us begin. To discuss Tetris 99, we must first discuss what Tetris is, where it came from, and why people are so interested in what this new game has to offer. For those of you not in the know, Tetris is one of the oldest games out there, dating back to 1984, developed by Alexei Pajitnov, an artificial intelligence researcher from Russia, and I apologize if I butchered his name. His job involved testing the capabilities of new hardware, and his way of testing systems involved writing simple games for them. Tetris was one such game, becoming popular with colleagues and getting the game ported to the IBM PC. Eventually, the PC version made its way out of Russia to the rest of the world, and the rest is history. Tetris made its way onto Nintendo systems with the Game Boy, as in a genius stroke of marketing, the game was bundled into every Game Boy system, and with how simple Tetris was to pick up and play, as well as its addictive nature, it was safe to say that this was truly the beginning of Tetris's reign over the gaming industry. The story of the Tetris franchise is one of the most revered in gaming, with Tetris being cited as one of, if not, the most important games of all time, earning its place as one of the best puzzle games of the genre, as well as becoming a mainstay of pop culture as well. You'd be hard-pressed to find people who don't know what Tetris is nowadays, and Tetris has had releases on almost every single video game console, operating system, and more. Graphing calculators, mobile phones, PDAs, the lava lamp I chugged when I was 6, the Amazon Echo, your grandmother's hearing aid, and now Tetris is making a return on the Nintendo Switch in big fashion. But when the new Tetris game was revealed in the Nintendo Direct presentation on February 13th, 2019, I'm pretty sure nobody expected it to be the first ever Battle Royale puzzle game. Yeah, Tetris 99 was the puzzle genre's answer to the PUBGs, the Minecraft survival games, the Fortnites, and the Apex Legends. Finally, there was a game that used a Battle Royale formula, but designed for puzzle gamers. Honestly, no franchise other than Tetris could have pulled this one off. Any other franchise would probably have been ridiculed for even attempting to create a Battle Royale game for puzzle fans, and for the first few moments before anyone had gotten the chance to actually play Tetris 99, the memes were flowing, and people were waiting to see whether this game would be able to compete with the best of the best. So, did Tetris 99 live up to the hype? Let's find out. So before explaining Tetris 99, it might be a good idea to explain Tetris itself for the one person out there who's never played a game of Tetris before, because I know there's at least one of you out there. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Dave. You know who you are. Tetris revolves around the concept of stacking blocks known as tetrominos into a 20-row, 10-column grid known as a matrix. You must manipulate these tetrominos, which will be lined up in a random order, which can be seen on the side of the screen, having the ability to rotate them with quarter turns, or move them sideways in order to fit into your spaces on the grid. Your aim is to create a solid horizontal line, and once the line is formed, it will vanish and the blocks above the line will drop down one space. In traditional Tetris, the aim is to create as many lines as possible, advancing levels as you go. The further you progress, the faster your tetrominos will fall, with the game ending once your stack reaches the top of the matrix, stopping any new pieces from entering the field. There are 7 different tetromino pieces you can find within Tetris, and these make up the foundation of the game. You have the I block, which is a straight line of 4 blocks, often depicted with a light blue coloring. The O block, which is a 2x2 set of square blocks, often depicted with a yellow coloring. The T block, which is a row of 3 blocks with one added below the central block, often depicted with a magenta coloring. The J block, which is a row of 3 blocks with one added below the right side, often depicted with a dark blue coloring. The L block, which is a row of 3 blocks with one added below the left side, often depicted with an orange coloring. The S block, which are 2 stacked horizontal dominoes with the top one offset to the right, often depicted with a green coloring. And lastly, the Z block, which are 2 stacked horizontal dominoes with the top one offset to the left, often depicted with a red coloring. With just 7 tetrominos, it's easy to pick up and understand various combinations you can make with each of the pieces. And with normal Tetris, where it's just you versus yourself, you can get by without much effort. However, Tetris 99 is a different beast altogether. In Tetris 99, you will be competing against 98 other players who all want to be the last player standing at the end of a match. There isn't a competitive mode or a ranked play option, so all manner of players with all manner of skill levels will be matched together, meaning you may end up with some pretty easy opponents, or you might end up on the receiving end of a professional player's attacks. Tetris 99 isn't just about clearing lines, but instead there's an entire metagame about targeting other players, setting up the best combos possible, and staying alive. When you start up the game, you'll be loaded in with no explanation, and your only chance of survival is to stay on your toes and hope your Tetris skills are up to snuff. But hopefully this video will help you to understand what you need to know to adapt to Tetris 99. In Tetris 99, you KO your opponents by sending lines of garbage to their matrix. The way you send garbage is by getting line clears and combos. How you choose to play, though, determines on how your game starts. You see, getting single line clears is generally unhelpful, as you don't actually generate any garbage. You need to at least get a double line clear or more in order to generate garbage to send to your opponents, with the only exception being when you obtain many single line clears in a row, which creates a combo. Most players will want to try and aim for a simple Tetris, being a 4-line clear that can only be achieved by using the I block. Though if you're a real professional Tetris player, you can also try your hand at T-spins, which achieve a higher amount of garbage than regular line clears. Though, of the 2 matches I've won, I've never needed to use a T-spin, and I don't feel I'm qualified to explain how T-spins work myself, so instead I'll link you to a video in the description that explains T-spins far better than I ever could. If you want to master Tetris 99, I'd recommend learning how to create mini T-spins and regular T-spins, and I'm doing that myself as well. Now, before we get into fending off garbage, I need to explain the main system of this game, the targeting wheel. In the top of your matrix, you will notice a wheel with 4 options: KO, badges, attackers, and random. By using the right Joy-Con's control stick, you can flick it in any of the 4 directions to select one of the 4 options, with each having different capabilities. KO will make you target the players closest to a KO. These players will often have a very stacked screen, and a few lines of garbage could send them over the edge and get you a kill. That being said, there's a risk-reward factor, as the players closest to a KO could be that close to the top of the matrix as they've set up an elaborate Tetris, and you might just find yourself getting KO'd by them if you're not careful. Badges will make you target the player with the most badges in the game, but what are badges, you may ask? Badges are special power-ups you can obtain as you get KOs in the game, and are made up of bits. Your first badge requires 2 bits to create, meaning you need 2 KOs to get your first badge. Your second badge is worth 4 bits, the third badge is worth 8 bits, and the fourth badge is worth 16 bits. Each of these badges are crucial towards winning in Tetris 99, as each badge will increase your garbage sent per line in 25% increases. This means the more badges you have, the more garbage you can send out, and in the endgame, you'll need your own badges to combat whoever else is left. Also be aware that when you KO a player, you will also take any badges that they happen to have accumulated. This means that if you are able to KO a player with a lot of badges and bits, you could turn the tables and come back from behind to win the game, hence why the badges option lets you target the strongest players. That being said, similarly to the KO option, those players could easily target you back, and their high badge count means garbage they send could wipe you out instantly. So only go after badge players if you know you can handle them. It's better to play defensively and make the top 10 than try to kill at top 30 and get wiped out after all, at least if you pride placements. The third option is attackers, and this is a very important option, as using this allows you to target anyone who targets you automatically. You can use this as a scare tactic, as if someone switches onto you via any of the other buttons, you auto-targeting might cause them to switch away. However, attacking is definitely one of the best ways to rack up KOs. You see, when you're being attacked and you clear lines while in attacker mode, you will send garbage to every player who is targeting you. So if you get a Tetris while being targeted by 4 different people, all 4 of them will get 4 lines of garbage from your Tetris. By baiting players into attacking them, many pros will then knock them all down like dominoes and claim a good spot in the game by getting early KOs. You can tell if someone is targeting you as you'll see a yellow line flash to the bottom of your matrix, as well as hear a small beeping sound. If you find yourself being attacked by multiple people, target them back and destroy them quickly. And the best part is, if more than 3 people are attacking you at the same time, you can generate garbage with single line clears. You can also tell if an opponent is set to attackers mode by seeing if the target on you vanishes if you target them, then switch to someone else. Be aware that players with lots of badges thrive in attacker mode, as they can send double the garbage to anyone who dares target them, and that's no good if you're on the receiving end, so if you see that someone has a lot of badges and you don't want to face them, try not to target them, otherwise they will target you back. Lastly, there's random, which quite simply means what it says. Any garbage you generate will be randomly sent out to another player in the game, with no rhyme or reason as to who gets hit. For first-time players, sticking to random is a good way to get a feel for the game, and assuming you don't get insta-attacked right off the bat is a good way of surviving the early game. However, random becomes a non-factor after you've gained some experience, so try not to rely on that setting unless you're trying to cool down on people attacking you. You can also use the left stick to target different players manually, but in the heat of battle it's easier to trust in the category wheel. I've personally never used the left stick in competitive play, and it's really more hassle than it's worth, especially in the late game. Now, you've found out how to target players and how to generate garbage against your opponents, but what about the properties of garbage and how to defend against attacks yourself? Garbage is generated when you get various amounts of line clears, and is sent to the opponent via a set of lines with a 1-block gap when it materializes. You can clear garbage in the same manner as clearing normal lines, and most of the time, the garbage will have the gap in the same column, allowing you to easily clear lines and create a Tetris against your opponents. However, garbage doesn't just appear at the bottom of your matrix without warning. On the left of the screen, there's a column that will display the amount of garbage about to be unleashed on your board. The garbage will appear grey, then turn yellow, then red, then when it begins flashing, the garbage will appear after your next Tetromino hits the board. By creating line clears, you can defend against garbage and destroy it from the side column. However, this also prevents you from being able to attack other players, as your garbage is left to negate the garbage piling up. The best course of action is to have fast reflexes and try to figure out if the garbage will be better being removed, or if perhaps you can use the way garbage spawns to your advantage. Sometimes building up large stockpiles of garbage only to then use an eye block and get a Tetris is a great strategy, so make sure to factor garbage into the equation moving forwards. And really, that's all there is for the gameplay. That's really everything you need to know. And I said this was going to be a short episode, but we're going to get straight into a few tips that you should know so you can get that sweet, sweet Tetris Royale. You can hold pieces with the L or R buttons, saving them for future use. In the early game, it's a good place to store the I block to save up for a massive Tetris, but keep in mind that as you progress throughout the game, you're gonna be switching out your held block a lot, so keep an eye on what's in there so you don't make any mistakes. The game will increase in speed as you progress, but it will always change up at 50 players remaining and 10 players remaining respectively, along with a shift and change in music. Try not to let this psych you out, stay focused, and do your best. If you find you're struggling with the sounds, try turning down the volume or muting the game altogether. Some players work better without audio, and you could be one of them. My personal strategy is to stick on random for the first 15 seconds, then shift to KOs after people have had time to place down Tetrominos. If more than one person attacks me at any point, I'll switch to attacking mode and deal with them, then switch back to KOs. This strategy can get you far in most games if you're fast enough, but some people have the same strategy and can outpace you, so beware. Don't panic if you misplace a block. Most of the time, you'll be able to come back from it, and sometimes a misplace can lead to line clears you couldn't see before. Hard dropping is essential to surviving in this game. If all you do is soft drop, you won't survive very long. That being said, when getting down to the top 10 or so, soft dropping is the best way to cope with the falling speed, so keep that in mind. Try and always be aware of what's coming up next in your block selection. Like chess, you need to be thinking 3 steps ahead at all times. And perhaps the most important advice you can get, never give up. You should play Tetris 99 like you'd play Survivor. Dig deep and never give up, because even if everything seems hopeless, you can always maneuver yourself into a position of power, and the game is balanced enough that you always have a way to fight back. That being said, Tetris 99 is also like Survivor in that no matter how good you are at the game, you might not win your first, second, or third time. Hell, it could take you hundreds of games to get that Tetris Royale. But if you keep at it, and don't buckle under pressure, it might just happen. So, what do I think of Tetris 99 overall? Well, it's a brilliant idea that only Tetris could execute. A puzzle block battle royale with one of the simplest games known to mankind, and finally Tetris 99 has given us a semi-decent reason to pay for that Nintendo Switch Online. However, while it completely freshens up its gameplay for a modern audience, it isn't without its faults. The lack of a practice mode or a marathon mode is genuinely surprising, and the lack of single-player modes baffles me, as you'd think that with single-player modes this game would be even more accessible and even more users would want to try this game out. I have to wonder if we'll be getting an update down the line with new modes, or whether this really is it, because I feel if this game doesn't have a few new modes added to it over time, it's gonna peter off. That being said, I can't deny that Tetris 99 has made itself a beloved title that I totally wasn't addicted to for the first 2 weeks of its launch. And given how much Tetris I've played in my life, I find it impressive that this game managed to relight the fire in me for placing down Tetromino blocks. Could've used a tutorial though. So with that in mind, Tetris 99 gets a silver star. A silver star goes to games that I enjoyed, but have real unfinished potential that they sadly have yet to meet. And with Tetris 99, while the gameplay is enjoyable, fun, and exciting, the lack of a tutorial, the lack of other modes, and even the lack of being able to remap your buttons as you please in the controls, it just leads me to feel like this game was released a little bit too early and it just feels unfinished. However, if there is an update in the future that adds these options that I am missing, then I will happily upgrade my score to a gold star and put Tetris 99 on the pedestal it deserves. Though, I get the feeling this year Tetris 99 is going to be a game that I remember when I get to my 2019 top 10 games of the year. Who knows? Thank you everyone for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the previous episodes in this series, and I want to give a shout out to my lovely patrons who support me every month over on Patreon. They get 24-hour access to these So I Just Finished videos before they go live for you guys, and they get other little fun perks such as access to a private room on my Discord, and they're just really cool. They get mentioned in my description and at the end of my videos as well, so that's really cool. So, if you want to become a patron yourself, or you're interested in helping out the channel, links are down below to my social medias and other pages. Hopefully you can leave me a follow on Twitter. I stream on Twitch about 3 or 4 times a week, possibly longer depending on my schedule. And yeah, it's really fun. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the Tetris. Goodbye.